Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You've read the title. We have a massive potential short squeeze in play. However, as you can see, we have a bit of downside liquidity left. So we need to be looking at all the scenarios. We need to be seeing if this is a massive trap, as there's lots of liquidity above us. And if we actually break 96k with volume, then we can easily shoot up all the way as high as 103k and potentially in towards new highs for Bitcoin. But before we do that, let's try smash up this like button. Let's get above 35 likes this video. That'll be absolutely insane, guys. And with that being said, let's get straight away in towards this banger. Bow. And as you guys can see here, we have this massive potential short squeeze if we can push in towards that 96k level potentially next week. And if we actually zoom in on the liquidation heat map, you can actually see that the liquidity is actually quite spread, because we have a lot of downside liquidity actually in and around the 88k level, where there will be a massive bear trap in my opinion. However, we have the opportunity to actually push price higher as bulls. So we need to be looking at the different levels and to be seeing what is more likely. But if we have a look at the Bitcoin funding rates, you can see that the funding rates are actually quite low. And for altcoins, for example, for Solana over here, they're negative on OKX there. So across the board, it is actually looking quite bullish. The bulls have the potential to actually move price higher, as the funding rates actually show whether traders are more majority short or long, and statistics point to the majority being wrong in the market over a long enough time frame. So it's looking like actually we can see a potential move higher, and you can see that the time in towards the Trump inauguration is actually closing in massively. From next Monday, we're going to be reaching this window where we have a week in towards Trump's inauguration. So this is massive. We need to be looking at the likely scenarios, and we can definitely see a buy the hype, sell the news. If we can push in towards that 96k region, I think the short squeeze is going to be very volatile. It's going to be very massive. We can easily pop in towards new highs, actually breaking the 108k level and moving higher. But let's look at the different charts. Let's look at the levels and see where we can go first before that actually plays out. So for that imminent short term, we're trading in the weekend in and around the 94.7k mark, and typically 98% of your CME gaps actually get filled. So hovering around this level is actually going to be quite bullish, because if we actually extend from this level now, then it's likely at the start of next week when we can actually push down, which offers the opportunity for bears to just continue that momentum downwards. So actually looking at market structure, you can see that we're flipping quite bullish here, because we had a nice downtrend over there and we had our lower low, then you have another higher low, then you broke market structure, you have a higher high, higher low. So actually if we just consolidate a little bit and confirm this as a nice higher low there, then we can actually look at a higher high. And if we get a higher high, that will be in and around the 96k level, where we have the potential for a rejection, which I'll cover in a second. But again, the liquidity is so massive that it's likely that we can just squeeze a lot higher. If bulls can actually take full control, we can actually start pumping in towards Trump's inauguration. There's some news, there's something that ignites us to actually push all the way towards that 100k level, because after 96k, it's just a straight line in my opinion. Few candles in towards that 100k psychological level, where we need to just actually gain that as support. But you can see we had bullish divergence recently, so we've been bouncing exactly. And you can see over on my Twitter over here, I was actually telling you guys, if we lose 92k, then we're going towards that 89,600 mid-range level over there. But I did highlight this is a massive support for Bitcoin. So if you were following me on Twitter, you may have seen that over there. And you can see if we go into the range, we had a small bounce over here, which is looking all right for Bitcoin. We're in and around the yearly open and our monthly open there. So this is a key level to be seen if bulls can actually reclaim in towards the weekly open. And then we want to see if we can go in towards our mid-range. But again, mid-range is some resistance if you can't break above it and actually confirm it as support. So you want to be seeing if we can actually confirm bullish candlesticks in and around the mid-range, because if you gain acceptance below and you're seeing some weakness in the candles, then it's likely we can actually go lower. And if you look at how many times we've tested this level, I think that the next time we return in towards 92k, we're going to actually break it. And then we can be seeing that liquidity grab, and maybe we can actually go a lot higher, which is bullish. That's going to be a bullish thing to be seen in the market, as you're going to be getting a massive shakeout and in towards Trump's inauguration. I think that as soon as he gets elected, we're going to be seeing very rampant expansion, very bullish moves for the Bitcoin price in towards that 120k level that I've mentioned on the channel so many times where I think that it may be a massive psychological level to be looking at, and then maybe we may get a reversal from there, but we'll just talk about that when we get there. So as you can see, we've been ranging in towards the 60-day mark over there. We're actually been ranging for 62 days at the minute, and you can see that if we look at the, so speaking about the liquidity grab, you can see over here that we have this nice fractal that I've taken from the ETF scenario where we actually rejected from our monthly and yearly open over there. We actually came down, and then we had a liquidity grab before actually going up in towards the news for the ETF. However, it's key to note that we actually pumped in towards our ETF first, then we got the sell the news before we actually had a massive move up. So again, coming down like this and then continuing higher is something to be watching out for, because if we see that, in my opinion, that'll be a massive buy the dip opportunity over there. But if bulls can confirm price above the mid-range, then actually we can pump in towards Trump's inauguration. And if we get a massive downtrend again and we get that liquidity grab, then that's something to be prepared for. Reclaim the range, acceptance above the range high, and then you're looking for Bitcoin to actually start trading a lot higher. So you can see by this chart, it actually makes sense to be a little bit cautious and bearish, because we actually have a lot of signals firing, and you can see we have this head and shoulders over here that's potentially confirming that we can actually come lower, but you want to see a close below 91.5 with volume. And then I definitely think that we're coming in towards this pocket in and around the 80k and 77k, where we actually have our CME gap. We'll actually fill that gap, and that will be insanely bullish in my opinions. And why I'm mentioning that and why I'm actually quite ready for that scenario is because we have our stock market. So you can see the S&P on the right hand side and the Nasdaq below it, and you can see on the left hand side we have Bitcoin and then Ethereum below it. You can see we were all forming this consolidation pattern in towards our NFP news that we had literally yesterday, and the stock market had a very bad reaction, and so did the Nasdaq. But you can see the crypto is quite lagging it. We didn't have a breakdown of this pattern, which may indicate strength, but at the same time it may indicate a trap scenario where we actually just start reversing after hitting 96k. We actually come down and sweep all the liquidity before maybe we can actually start going up. But again, you want to see if the stock market actually deviates and we actually gap up and retest this pattern where you have that decision point, which indicates a potential liquidity grab if you can see further continuation and then a breakout higher. And you want to see the same scenario for the Nasdaq over there. You want to see a break back in and you break this down slope trend line where there's a lot of liquidity to be grabbed. But at the same time, this may coincide with Bitcoin just gapping down in towards Monday's open and then actually going higher. So you want to see how this week closes. You want to be looking at the price action if we manage to get to that 96k level, because if we pump in towards 96k over this weekend, I do expect us to actually start coming down due to us filling the CME gap and the bears having an opportunity to continue the selling all the way down. So if you're enjoying the video and you want to be trading yourself, make sure to be checking that first link down below. If you check that first link down below, this will take you to this page over here, which is the sign up page for Blofin. Blofin are one of the best exchanges out there, guys. They have one of the lowest fees. They have fire blocks, which just means that they have a third-party custodian so that your funds are more secure. So definitely be checking if this is available in your country, as I definitely recommend Blofin. These guys are really good guys, and if you agree with their analysis and you agree with my opinion, then definitely looking towards signing up with Blofin so that you can take advantage of this opportunity. And for some reason, if you don't want to use Blofin, then we got KCEX over here. So make sure to be clicking there. You can gain up to $9,000 in deposit bonuses as well. You get 0 maker fees and you got no fees on spot as well. And you have that 0 withdrawal fee 2 on all change, which is absolutely amazing. So if you're enjoying my analysis and you're liking my opinion and you want to be taking advantage of some of the information, then make sure to be checking if it's available in your country. And if it's available in your country, you can click that second link down below for KCEX. So you can see for the longer term, we're having this cup and handle still in play with our measured move from the base of the cup towards the neckline. And then we're looking at this one over here. If you take it to the breakout, it lines up perfectly with 120k level. And you can see that we were shouting for buys all the way down here in the range in and around the 58k level. And we actually exactly broke out. And Fractal actually shows that we have a high low. And if you look at the timing as well, it was actually near the end of January. So if we look at a weekly candle precisely, from the 25th of Jan, after that weekly candle closed, the next 3 candles, if we were looking at the percentage, it was actually a 79% increase in 3 weeks for Bitcoin. So I expect us to have a higher low, whether we get a liquidity grab, close back in, and then we actually start that massive move up. I do think that is definitely likely. And this is, of course, just a trade idea. It's something to be looking at. But if we look at the range, you can see that we have a lot of demand. Wicks actually showing at this range quarter that I've been showing you guys on the channel all the time. And it's taking 120k price target from our cup and handle. So that's something that I'm looking at, as I do see that we're holding this level. So it's looking really bullish. And yeah, for the longer term over here, you can see that we have this massive fractal that's showing us that this year is the year for altcoins, as you have your previous years where it's Bitcoin season, then you get a rotation into your large caps, you have a nice pump and they actually increase in price, and then you have a massive alt season in the third year of your 4-year Bitcoin cycles. So that's looking really good. And speaking of altcoins, we have Ethereum over here. So on a 2-hourly time frame, we're actually consolidating in this nice ascending triangle, which Ethereum likes to always break out of these ascending triangles a lot of the time. I'll say that the probabilities from me actually observing these reversal patterns is around the 75 to 70% mark that you will get that break upwards. So we want to see if we can potentially come in towards support. Then we want to break above that 3.3k level. If you can see a retest of this after breaking out and actually closing, I do think that it's likely we can get a nice price increase for Ethereum to actually grab some liquidity. And whether that's a massive trap, that's a nice opportunity over there. And I do think that we can see some sort of reversal, but again, it's not guaranteed, as we come from a lot of bearish momentum. Although we did slow down, you can come in towards this resistance level and actually break all the way down to your bottom over there. So it's something to be actually paying attention to. But looking at the longer term, we're actually still bouncing off of this symmetrical triangle. This is massive support for Ethereum. So now if you zoom out, you have this massive cup and handle in play for Ethereum. So we need to be seeing if we can break above that 4k level, which was massive resistance previously. And due to us actually spiking it 3 times in this uptrend, this cycle already, I think on the next try, we're actually going to break that level. So it is likely we can get a massive squeeze in towards this level over here and actually break it for Ethereum. And then you want to see if you can actually confirm it as support. And then I do expect Ethereum to actually go massively parabolic, outperforming Bitcoin. And speaking about Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, you can see you have ETH BTC over here with a falling wedge, which is looking really good. We actually hit this demand zone. So we're actually expecting Ethereum against Bitcoin to actually reverse. And that will coincide with the Bitcoin dominance top, as we can see it in this fractal over here. Every time we have this hammer where we have a Bitcoin dominance top, then we actually break down very quickly. So I do expect a massive alt season on the way. So this is something to be watching, as we've broken down. We're retesting this upward sloping resistance. So on the lower time frames, we want to see if Bitcoin dominance can start breaking down. And as you can see over here, this is a massive horizontal level as well for Bitcoin dominance. And if we actually zoom in on a lower time frame, so I'll go to the 6-hourly time frame over here, we can see Bitcoin dominance is actually confirming bearish market structure. We broke and retested, and you can see that we're just creating lower highs over here. So if this is the lower high and we just come down a bit lower, this can definitely just confirm that reversal even more. And we have this uplifting trend line that if we lose and actually break below, that would be very bullish. But again, we're on support on the short term over there, so it is likely we can get a spike in towards next week where we tackle this horizontal resistance line again, and then maybe we range for a bit more before we actually break down on the Bitcoin dominance. So it won't be such a smooth sail all the way down, in my opinion, from now, due to Bitcoin just being a bit choppy in the market, not really being so certain due to macro factors. But I do think that once things are more confirmed, things are more clear, and we have more certainty in the market, and that coincides with something like this playing out, then we're going to have a massive pump in the market, especially for altcoins. So it's the weekend, not too much to be looking at, but again, from next week we'll have a lot more charts. But that's it from me, guys. Have a blessed rest of your day. Make sure to be following me on Twitter for consistent updates, as you can see over here as well. And yeah, peace, guys. See ya. Bye bye.